Okay, we're not going to mention this. We're mentioning it now. But we forgot to mention this when we did the water heater video that you're going to see here shortly. But this thimble should be sealed, like these guys are sealed, to help prevent moisture into the wall. Now, builders, they get grading. They don't get drainage so much. This retaining wall is probably your neighbor's retaining wall. It's retaining your neighbor's yard. If it's farther away from a structure than twice its height, then in theory it should have no direct impact on the operation of the foundation. If it's less than 4 feet high, they didn't have to pull a permit to build it. Just anybody can build that retaining wall. Who knows? Rocks are falling out. It is what it is. But builders, they understand grading. They don't understand drainage. That's what they don't understand. They don't understand drainage. And the builder will tell you, I'm fairly confident about this, but well, maybe not this builder. This builder won't tell you this. Alright? This builder will not tell you this story, but a lot of them like to say, you know, those other guys, they say if it doesn't dry out within 48 hours, we consider that a problem. You see, that's not drainage. That's evaporation. This is swampage. By the very definition of the dictionary, evaporation is not drainage. This should drain. It shouldn't be level like this. It could have a negative effect on the foundation. I get it. The houses are close and they squirt. They put chemicals underneath the foundation because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. But it still could affect the foundation. Mosquitoes, West Nile disease, kids playing in it, being able to maintain a healthy yard with healthy roots for the grass. All these things, okay? All these things are negatively impacted by this lack of drainage. Okay, that's swampage. You come in the front of your beautiful house, you go in the beautiful front door, you go through your beautiful house, you go out your beautiful patio, you don't come over here and you don't see this swamp over here. You just don't see it. And the builder says, okay, I tell you what. I mean, this is what, again, not this builder. So I tell you what, let's let it go for a few months and see how it acts. They're really hoping you'll forget about it. They know that they're going to have to correct the drainage on a few of these homes. And they're counting on most of the people forgetting about it. And then 5 years later, I come back to inspect these homes, and everybody's got all that little sick, I see it all the time. The sellers, I feel bad, man. The sellers have these little sick looks on their faces, and I'm telling the new owners that they've got horrible drainage on the house, and it'd be better if it's fixed. And they're going like, well, it was built that way. The builder never said this. I said, did you get it inspected? I don't know. I see those looks. I don't like telling people about it, but I'm paid to. I'm paid to tell people about it. I'm paid to tell you about it. And so 5 years from now, if you're selling this home, long after the builder's gone, he doesn't care anymore, somebody might be fixing this. But it sure won't be the builder. It sure will not be the builder. Not then. Not after that much time. These rain gutters do not divert water far enough away from the structure. And I get it, you know, lawnmowers and stuff, they'll be running over them and all that. Some people put extensions with little pins. You pull the pins off before you mow the yard. Some people bury them in the yard so they come out over here and attach to our drainage system that goes out to the street like it's supposed to. I'm just saying. These splashbacks, the builders love to stuff these out backwards. I have no idea. It's like they want to give me something to talk about. Well, let the home inspector find something. We'll put the splashbacks out there. I don't know, man. It's like a personal vendetta or something. I've even heard builders say, well, the water comes in here and then it hits that and then it kind of sprays and aerates and makes a little sprinkler system. Really? Surely. Please, please, don't insult us. Don't insult us like that, please. Don't insult us by saying 48 hours of evaporation equals drainage. That's just wrong, man. This is called a control joint. Excuse me. I take that back. This is actually an expansion joint. And it's acceptable to use wood like this in these, this one's kind of wide though. I think we need to seal it. They do have other sealants and ropes, and different product for this. The wood's about the cheapest you can get, but it's acceptable. Except when it's all breaking and chipping like that. It's acceptable unless you have big old gaps like this. That's a little different. It's a little different. Now we're in the garage. The garage is part of the exterior. Ask Crime Watch. We got a hole in our garage wall that goes all the way through into the house. And I'm talking about these cracks. Alright? And a lot of my clients, especially new construction, because you're rightfully so, your expectations are elevated. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. And the builder's going to say something like, well, concrete does two things. It gets hard and it cracks. I'll bet you $5 that's what he says. It's a bet. $5. If you ask him about it. Alright? Well, I have 3 or 5 criteria about determining the performance of flat work. That's what this is. This garage floor. That's what that driveway is. That's flat work. Okay? Is the crack wider at the perimeter than it is in the middle? Then that might be a clue. It might be a problem. And it's not. Okay? Is the crack wider than a 32nd of an inch? And it's not. Is a crack wider than a 32nd of an inch in more than one location? Well, it's not. Wider than a quarter of an eighth of an inch, it's not. And is it in plane? Okay, is it out of plane? And it's not. The concrete gets dry and it cracks. These cracks are typical. Your neighbor's not going to come over here and say like, wow, you got some of those typical cracks. I wish I had cracks like that. How do I get some cracks like you got? That's not going to happen. I get that. But this is part of the product. This is the building materials. Today, there's nothing wrong with this crack. Doesn't mean you should ignore your house. You should always monitor every aspect of your house, including the crack. But that crack's not an issue. This expansion joint is an issue. Where do termites live? In the ground? No. What do they eat? Dead wood? Oh. What's wood mulch? Dead wood on the ground next to your house. And you have a parge coat around here, like a cake frosting. And it creates a void that termites can use to come up into your home. You're not going to see them for about 7 years. Hope you never see them. They're not a problem today or tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, but eventually, this is conducive. This is called a clue. It's conducive to wood destroying insects. We're missing our ceiling luminary on the entry. We've got a loose soldier brick. Look at that. Yeah. Look at that guy. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? Hello. Mouse Express. Mice coming in here? They sure can. Oh, we're missing another luminary. It looks like they planned on one. I don't know what's going on there. Try not to electrocute myself. On lawn sprinkler systems, it's okay for the irrigation line to be exposed. Alright? But it's supposed to be stapled, anchored to the ground every 12 inches. And when it's exposed like that, also note that it's more susceptible to evaporation. This retaining wall probably belongs to you. It's retaining your property. It's twice its height. It's more than twice its height from the structure, so in theory it should not have a direct impact. Your neighbor's grading and drainage sucks. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's bad. It's bad. Rain gutter diverts too close. You don't even have a backward splash guard. Coming on. Parge coat. Okay. Parge coat, it's like a cake frosting. Just because it's cracked doesn't mean your foundation is cracked. And if it's not cracked, it doesn't mean your foundation is not cracked. It's an aesthetic issue that they come in because the edges of the foundation look kind of rough. This is called a control joint. Some people call them expansion joints. Call them what you will. You get this much brick, it's going to move. It's going to move. So we do that. Just like you have lines in the streets and lines in the driveway. These control joints. Now every couple years you need to come back and reseal it because it gets dry and shrinks and pulls away from the brickwork like it has already. Look, check this out. Look at that up there. Okay. Try my production skills. Look at that up there. And then go back to wide angle. I forget sometimes. Oh, is this one a little better? But now check this out. Let me step back here a little bit. Look at the vertical trim board on the siding and the brickwork. And I got a little bit of pookie up there. And then this is wide open, man. It looks like the Panama Canal. Just run the boats through there. Okay. Crack me up. Alright. Lead free. Haven't tried this one yet. There we go. The weather sensor for the lawn sprinkler system's over there. Then again on the patio. Missing our electrical. Double pane vinyl frame windows. And then our weep holes inside the windows. See, they're designed to shed water. You might want to check with the window manufacturer to see if weir traps are not intended to be installed on these. I haven't seen a weir trap yet. Some of them they're not. Some of them they're not. What would a weir trap do? It limits the amount of whistling the windows, the fenestrations would do on a windy day. But all windows aren't made for that. But we're missing some of our mortar between these bricks right in here. And coming on along. Go around the maypole. Okay. Pretty nice. This is the part of the roof I was able to walk on. Those are the boogered up shingles right over there. And like the other side, but not as much, but this vertical trim board between the brickwork, if you look up there, I don't know how my exposure's doing. If you look right up in there, you'll see some missing pookie sealant. We're getting about right where we started when we had the drainage story. Remember the drainage story? And the water heater thimble.